So I used to work as a tech for a satellite TV company. House calls, troubleshooting, installs, crap like that. When I first started, like most people, I was real slow. Like, took me twice the normal amount of time. And this company was known for being terrible at work-life balance. And me being new, they wanted to see if I'd make it. The area that we served was a 2.5 to 3.25 hour circle around the office basically, and our routing system liked to make people drive out and get progressively further away throughout the day. It made sense somewhat, but usually not so much lol. Anywho, this is like my second or third week out on my own after training. I'm doing fairly decent. I can do 2 to 3 small, medium installs in a day and get off at a decent time. But today, someone called in sick, and so the work shifted around and I drove farther than I was originally scheduled. I get out to near the edge of our area, and start a 2 to 3 room job, 2 to 3 hours or so usually, at 4 p.m. Not too bad looking at first, mostly existing cables and shots so shouldn't take long. Used to have my company's service and then switched to the other one, so I hop up on the roof and try and use the existing mount. But alas, it had been so long since they had us, that we were using a different set of satellites and now there was a tree just barely in the way. Fuck, so I begrudgingly hopped down. The fact that I had to point and mount a new dish means I'm gonna be here an extra 30 minutes to an hour longer. So I go talk to the customer and tell them what's up, and like most people, you ain't putting no damn holes in my roof. Now the company at this point was really cracking down on pole mounts. 'Cause they suck, but the customer insisted, so I get back to work. I set up the temp mount, can't do a same-day pole mount, gotta call DigSafe, yada yada. And I find a spot on the edge of this guy's yard with a clear view of the sky. Cool, set everything up, start to point the dish. Now I was new, so sometimes it was super quick, sometimes it took 5 minutes. By now it's about 5:30 or so, and fall, so the sun was setting in good old southern Indiana. I'm trying to find the right spot and it just won't fucking get enough signal on all the satellites. Fuck again. So 10 minutes later I'm getting pissed. I take the dish off the temp mount, grab my level to make sure that was set up right and still hadn't moved. A 1/4 inch can fuck it all up when it comes to pointing, and it's damn near perfect. Okay, so let's try again. Another 5 minutes, still nothing. Okay, this LNBF, the eyes that look at the dish, is bad. Go get another one. Another 5 minutes go by and I'm back to pointing. Still fucking nothing. Now I'm 19, new at the job, on my own. My manager won't answer my calls, everyone else has gone home for the day. I can't leave because that'd be considered job abandonment if the customer doesn't ask you to, and I would get fired. So I am getting fucking furious. I go and replace the last fucking thing, the entire assembled dish. Another 15 minutes to do that. I walk back over to the fucking mount. Bam! Instantly after 15 seconds, signal is well above the acceptable threshold. I'm tighten that thing up and it ain't moving at all. Being the angry, curious person I am, I look at the assembly that didn't work to try and figure out what was wrong. I wiggle the arm to make sure that wasn't it. Nope, all good. I take the reflector off and hold it up so I could see it at an angle. And there it is. 4 to 5.5 centimeter dents on the thing. Almost invisible unless you're looking at it perfectly. And just one is more than enough to ruin the signal on the dish. Now, being the reasonable, mild-mannered teenager that I was, I did what any reasonable person would do at 6:30 at night in the middle of nowhere in the pitch-dark country road with no streetlights. I take my tool belt off, lay it down, take a good look around to make sure no one was around or watching or anything. At this point it's pertinent to mention that it was a beautiful day. Perfect temperature, absolutely zero breeze, but after the sun went down it was just perfect. So I take this fucking reflector. I walk over to the edge of the yard, and just by the way, it's Illinois. It wasn't the woods, I'm sorry, it was a cornfield. That's half this fucking area. I take another quick look around, and I just fucking start spinning. Like I'm getting ready to Olympic-style discus toss this bitch into that cornfield. The amount of anger pouring from me could have invented yeet 4 years ahead of its time. As I'm doing my last spin, about to release this fucking devil-cursed object into that cornfield. And the wind blows, hard, right through the cornfield. Directly in my direction. Like, dead-ass day, not even the slightest breeze, but right as I'm about to litter a reflector into the abyss of corn, this wall of air rustles through the field pointed right at me. Not like, slightly off to either side, but directly where I was about to throw this thing at. I stopped dead and gripped that reflector like my life depended on it. I was shaking. There wasn't another bit of breeze. Just one gust. Now I've never really known how I truly feel about ghosts or spirits or good and evil or any of that. But when that wind hit me I felt just bad. IDK how to describe it. But I was spooked. I ran back to my van, grabbed my tools and threw the reflector in my van. The rest of the job that would usually take an hour and a half or so took me 30 to 45 minutes tops. Went in, came back out, and I hightailed it the fuck out of there. Didn't even complete my job on my work phone until I hit the town 5 minutes away and could stop in the light of a gas station. Looking back, maybe I didn't notice the breeze before. Or it wasn't as intense as I remember it. But to this day I swear, if ghosts or deities or spirits are real, one of them was not a happy camper that I was about to chuck this piece of metal into its field. I got home about 2.5 hours later. It was like 10 o'clock, boss finally answered my calls and let me take my van home instead of go back to the office that night. Went right to bed and that was that. Hated going back to Illinois from that moment on. Especially at night. Still get a weird feeling when I am in a similar position by a fenced-in yard with no other houses in sight and near a cornfield. Which very annoyingly for someone who used to live right outside Atlanta, Georgia happens a fucking lot around here.